two other stories that cab drivers gave me when I first used to ride cabs all around Vegas when I was living at Bally's. One was a guy who described Vegas. He'd lived here his whole life. He described Vegas as it was really nice and classy, and then Elvis came and brought all the hicks with him. That was his view of Vegas. And another cab driver who picked me up and said he lived here in the Howard Hughes days, back in the 50s. He was a child here in Vegas, and he said that they would watch the local TV station that Howard Hughes owned. Howard Hughes owned one of the stations, and he said, and this is as a child, this is his childhood memory. When he started to be able to stay up late, like on Friday nights, he would stay up and put on that station, and they would be very often unscheduled showing Ice Station Zebra, which you know is Howard Hughes' favorite movie.
Okay.
And he said you'd be watching it, and all of a sudden it would run back 10 minutes and show that scene again, and then run back 10 minutes and show that scene again, and then it would go forward a little bit and then skip a scene and then show that next scene 3 or 4 times and then go back to almost the beginning and start the movie again. And he said that's what overnight movies were in Vegas, because Howard Hughes would sit watching the television station on the phone, talking to the guy who was there operating the videotape, and would use the whole TV station as his little VCR. Because, you know, this is the 50s. They don't have VCRs.
I was going to say,
they weren't even on tape, though, did they? Was it on, what, Cinescope? How would you run a movie at that time? I don't even know the technical part of that.
I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I imagine that videotape in the late 50s.
Maybe.
Maybe he's talking 60s. Maybe I just made up the 50s part.
That just means if Howard Hughes were alive today, he'd be unimpressed with DVR. He'd be like,
I've had this for 40 years.
It's called my telephone.
But I love the fact that that Vegas people growing up in that environment would think it was okay to just watch TV and watch someone else's psycho viewing habits.
I would watch that now. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people were staying in town, I'd be like, okay, we got to watch whatever the late movie is on this channel, because
we're watching Ice House Zebra with Howard Hughes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know, I've always said we should have the true Vegas party and just watch Ice Station Zebra all night, surrounded by Mormons with little cans of our shit around and our fingernails and hair growing along. I mean, you know, because Ice Station, I can't remember really Ice Station Zebra. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't watched it in 30 years.
But I mean, Howard Hughes saw it thousands of times. He loved Ice Station Zebra.
I just, we don't, do we have moguls like that now? Do we have people who just misbehave with their money like that?
We don't, do we? We got people like Bill Gates.
Do responsible,
who
kind things.
Like what a polio and Forbes and
eradicating diseases. Who cares?